Hello, everyone. My name is George. Welcome back to another episode of Girls Engaged Let's Talk. I'm here with my friend Marissa. How are you, Marissa?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be talking.
That's good. So, what's been going on? What you up to?
Well, I just got back from a Dallas trip not too long ago. I went to see Benny Blanco at the pop up that he was having for
Okay.
Selena's new album, Love Selena.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had the craziest time there. Let me tell you. So, whenever I went to go park, there was this lady there and she looked mad. Her hands were like folded up and she was on the phone. And I rolled down my window and I was like, hey, is it okay if I park here? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Everybody else is. I'm like, oh, okay. Can I pay you $20 to park here? And she's like, no, it's fine. Whatever. And I was like, okay. So I go and I park and I'm like hoping and praying that she's not on the phone with a tow truck company.
Yeah.
Um, but I end up just going and I'm waiting for Benny to come out. And he comes out and he high fived me. And he was so cute. He was telling hi to everybody. His hands were surprisingly really soft.
That's
I
good.
was shocked. Okay, I'm not going to lie. And so after he got done saying hi, giving away the prize and everything, he was like, "I paid for snow cones, so everybody gets free snow cones until 5:30. And in the line, there's also posters that you can get." And I was like,
Hmm.
"Awesome! I'm gonna get a poster." So I go and I stand in line, and there's this lady in front of me, and she's with her daughter. She's 11 years old, and she has another daughter in a stroller. And her daughter's like, "Mom, why are we waiting in this line?" And she's like, "We're gonna get a snow cone." And then I tell her, I was like, "Oh, they're also giving posters." And she's like, "Oh, okay, how exciting." And that was the only conversation I had with her.
Hmm.
Instead of giving posters out at the window, they started giving it off to the side. So me and the lady in front of me went over to go get a poster. And I get my poster and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go now. And so as I'm leaving, that lady that was standing in front of me, she taps me on the shoulder and I look at her and she's like, "I can't find my daughter." And like, I was like, "What?" And it's so crazy how quickly like thoughts can process in your mind, because the thought that went through my mind was, how is this a scam? Oh, wait, no, she was standing in front of me. It's not a scam. Oh my God, like trafficking and everything. And like my body went numb and I got goosebumps on my head. And I saw this thing on TikTok that was like, if a child ever goes missing, start yelling to everybody what clothes they're wearing, their name, their description. So she gave me all of her descriptions, and I just start going around the snow cone shop and I start yelling the girls' descriptions. And everybody is so focused on Benny Blanco, like trying to get him to sign an autograph and everything. And like,
Hmm.
I get it, celebrities, but like, this is real life. So it got to the point where I started tapping on people and I was yelling, and then people started looking for her. And we couldn't find her after like a minute. And then somebody went to go get the cop, the description to the cop. He's like, okay. And then um, finally, somebody like that was closer to the cars versus being by the snow cone shop was like, "Did you say a girl in a black sweater pushing a stroller?" And I was like, "Yes." They're like, "She's over here." And I was like, "Oh my God." So the mom went over there and the mom broke down. And I was like, "Hey, it's okay. You're okay. Your two daughters are okay." I was like, "Things like this happen, but they're
Yeah.
safe." And there was like a 5 foot drop that she was trying to go over because she was just so shaken up. So I was like, "Hey, these people are going to watch your daughters. Let's go around so you don't get hurt." And she was so shaken up. And I was like, whew, that was a wild experience. So I'm like, all right, that's enough Dallas for me for today because I got to be back tomorrow anyway. And I'm walking to my car, and that lady that I offered $20 to, she's like standing behind an older man and she's like, "Let's go, just leave it alone." And then I'm like, that's none of my business. And then all of a sudden I hear a "F you." And I see the guy put his hands in the truck, and then the guy in the truck pushing his hands out. I was like, what the hell is going on? So I go over there and I'm like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Which it was so stupid of me to do, George.
Yeah.
It
Just
was
stayed out of
so
it.
stupid of me. I don't know if this person had a weapon or anything. I didn't know what they were fighting about. So stupid of me. So I asked her and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? She goes, yeah, this guy just won't get off the property. My dad's upset. I was like, oh, okay. And so I go up to the truck that the guy's in. I was like, hey, can you just roll up your window and leave? He's like, no, F these people. He's like, they're racist. I was like, I don't know these people. I don't know them. So I don't know if they are, but we all had a good time. We got to see Benny Blanco. Don't do something stupid that you're going to regret, that have to get the police involved and you end up in jail or something stupid like that. I was like, can you
Yeah.
just go? And he would not, like, they were just instigating each other. And so he was like, this is my effing restaurant parking lot. I was like, oh, I could distract him. I was like, oh, you own a, yeah, that one right there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, what do you serve? He's like, barbecue. I was like, okay, can I get a burger? He's like, I don't sell burgers. I sell chopped meat sandwiches. I was like, can I get a chopped meat sandwich? He's like, yeah, let's go. So I was like so relieved because I pulled him away. And
From
then,
the area.
um, like I said, it was so stupid of me to do. I should not have gotten involved, but I end up going, and his daughter is fixing me the sandwich. And she's like, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. You know, you were the only nice person to me today. Everybody that came here to see Benny were just so rude and treated me as a second class citizen. And she goes, I'm so thankful that you were nice to me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, it's not a problem. I'm sorry that you had to go through this and that people were parking here. She goes, no, and you even offered to pay me. Like that is so nice of you. And then her dad ends up walking home, and she was telling me, she's like, you know, he hasn't been the same since mom. She had 10 surgeries, 10 brain surgeries. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, I'm so sorry to hear that. She was like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, but thank you so much. So, and then she gave me a free Dr. Pepper as well. And then I went on my way home. And I told my sister and I told my mom about it. They're like, that's crazy. I was like, I know, it was stupid of me. And then I ended up going back to Dallas the very next day to see a comedian, Taylor Tomlin.
Mm.
And it, afterwards, we had went back to the hotel, and I was like, I want to get some dinner. Like, it's 11:30 at this point, so like all of the restaurants are closed. So we have to settle for eating at a bar. So I'm like, okay, not a big deal. We can eat at a bar. It was St. Patty's Day weekend. It was horrible. So me and my sister were sitting there, we're eating our pizza and stuff, and then all of a sudden I see this group of three girls. Their backs are facing me, and like they're just dancing, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're having a good time. And one of the girls gets up and grabs a guy and brings them to the table. This guy, George, is like passed out. Like, I'm not talking about drugs, passing out, leaning over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had a lot to drink, or he was drunk. I don't know. And so I'm looking straight at my sister, and I'm like taking quick glances at them just because I'm like, I want to make sure this guy's okay. So a couple minutes later, they end up taking the guy, one of the girls takes the guy to the street, and she leaves him there. And whenever she comes back, another girl from the table goes to him and starts putting him in a truck that somebody else was driving. And I could see this because it's right behind my sister. So I just have to lift up my eyes. I'm not having to turn my head or anything because I'm trying to be discreet, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so they put him in the car. And then whenever that truck was driving away, the guy in the passenger seat had this big old grin on his face and was like, wait, the girls. And I'm like, oh man, I really hope that guy's not getting robbed or something. And I was like, whatever. So then one of the girls who had her back facing towards me the entire night comes up to me and she goes, stop looking for Sergio. And I'm like, what? She goes, you don't have to look for him anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, you have a good night. And I look back at my sister, and then she repeats herself. And I'm like, okay, have a good night. She's like, worked 12 hours. And I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. Everybody's been up for over 12 hours. And so she keeps trying to explain herself, and I just ignore her. And then she ends up leaving. And I told my sister, I was like, you know what? Let's get out of here before they leave. And then, so whenever they end up leaving before we could pack up our food, and you know how I said she came up to me and she told me to stop looking for Sergio, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I was being discreet. They had two girls at the bar that had a perfect view of me. And I'm like, I wonder if they said something like I was darting my eyes looking since I wasn't moving my neck. And there were people that came from like all over the bar that went with them. So I'm like, maybe it was a group and they were just having fun and Sergio had too much, or I don't know. It was a really weird experience. And
Yeah.
so whenever me and my sister were leaving, I brought my little switchblade with me because I bring that everywhere. I had it open in my purse and I had my hand on it the entire time, like just looking around while we were walking to our car. And I told my sister, I was like, I'm never coming to Dallas again. But I have a Halsey concert in May.
In Dallas.
In Dallas. Why
Oh,
couldn't she come to Houston? So
I
I'm
was
going
telling
with one
someone
of my friends, and I
recently
told her, I was like, we
the
can get
same
that pizza
thing.
from a place, but we're going back to our hotel. We are not going anywhere. I 3 times you're out. I got lucky.
Yeah. But actually, I was telling someone today, I was like, none of like the people that I want to see or anything are in Houston.
I know. I
Like,
Houston used to be very big for the music scene because I
yeah.
remember like, bands that I liked that were post hardcore, they would come to Houston all the time, and now they're not. They're like going to freaking San Antonio and Austin, and I'm like,
Yeah, like comedians are the same thing. Like
mhm.
like I want to go see some comedians. I went to go see one, and I had to go all the way to Austin to go see
God,
him. I'm like,
what comedian was it?
it's Mateo Lane. I just went to go see him over there in Austin, but I was like, really, I wanted him to come to Houston, but he didn't have any, so I had to drive all the way to Austin after work. And then when
God.
I got there, luckily, when my friend lives there, so I
Hmm.
stayed with her family. Yeah, but I was like, why does nobody that I want to see coming to Houston?
I guess Austin is the safer route, like because
That's
Houston
true.
is violent.
But Dallas is bad too.
Well, yeah, and I always thought like the Houston hatred towards Dallas was just like haha jokes and like, oh, we hate Dallas. And it was like a cutesy, fun rivalry. No, that shit is true.
Okay, it's pretty bad. And did you drive there or did you fly?
I drove. I
Okay.
spent 2 days. So I drove there that Friday and then I drove back home and then I drove there Saturday and I drove home on Sunday. And my knee, I'm getting old. I'm only 30. But my knee was hurting and I was looking it up online and driver's knee is a thing.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
but yeah, never again going to Dallas. And then I have a work thing in Dallas coming up in September and I'm like, seriously, why can't I escape Dallas anymore?
Yeah, you know, you might need to move there.
I would never move there
Gosh,
ever.
that
I'm
sounds
wanting to
awful.
move to like the country, like further out from where I'm at right now.
Like Waller, or is that too far?
Waller's my ideal where I want to move. And my husband, he's like, well, what about this place? And I'm like, no. He's like, it's only 5 minutes away from Waller. And I was like, okay, yeah, then we could do that. And then he kept adding, and I was like, no, that is my cutoff. We are not going any further. He goes, I was just wanting to see how far we could go because we work from home, so the commute to our jobs, because we have to go in once or twice a week, so it won't be that bad versus having
Yeah.
to every single day.
Well,
But I'm like, I'm down to go to Hempstead. That is my cutoff,
oh,
Hempstead.
Hempstead. That's ghetto too. I don't like
I got
Hempstead.
married. I got married in Hempstead.
Well, there's nice areas everywhere, but like I don't know. Like I live in like Hockley. To me, that's as far as I was willing to go.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to live in Waller, but Waller we had like 5 acres. That's a lot to maintain.
That is a lot of land. That's
Yeah,
Matt grew up on 5 acres in Magnolia.
yeah.
But
Actually,
it's
if
surrounded
you
by
want the
trees.
same thing, my grandmother is selling hers
Okay. Yeah,
down there.
I was in Magnolia yesterday and for I was helping my friend wedding dress shop and it has changed so much.
Yes, it
Have you
has since we've
been?
been. Golly, yes, it has. Like they have a Waterburger now.
Yes, they do. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's just wild because even the roads expanded. I moved out of
Yeah.
Magnolia like 6, 7 years ago.
Oh, then it's changed a lot since then.
Absolutely.
'Cause
And I'm
there's new
like,
neighborhood. That there's Escondido. Have you seen it?
seeing what?
There's a new neighborhood there called Escondido, and everything inside of it, like all the roads and all that, are in Spanish.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood.
Man, I wonder what those taxes are like.
Probably pretty high.
Yeah, we just paid Matt's dad's taxes and ooh, don't want to talk about that.
Why are you paying someone else's taxes? You need to pay your own, girl.
Well, I don't own a home yet, so
That's true.
well, I mean, technically it's it's in my name. So I was like, and his dad lives with us now, so
Okay, so it makes
yeah.
sense.
So we're taking care of him and making sure he's good.
Mm. And you got a
The
big girl job now.
absolutely love him though. They love having somebody else here.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But the comedian that we had seen in Dallas, she had asked a question and I texted everybody because I wanted to know the answer. And I forgot to include on some of them that it was coming from a comedian. So the question was, if you found out you and your significant other were cousins, would you break up?
Yes. I feel like the answer to that should be yes.
Yes, yes. And I forgot to include that it was coming from a comedian. And everybody was like, "Are you and Matt cousins?" And I'm like, "No, no, we are not
There's
cousins."
no way y'all could be like.
Yeah, he's right.
There's-
He's right.
exactly, and you're not.
Yeah, but no, our answer is yes, we would break up and I would go no contact and I would be in therapy literally every single day.
Yeah,
Because that's what, 12, 13 years of my life.
yeah, you've been together a long time.
Yeah, whenever I was 18. That's about the same.
Golly.
That's the same time that I've known you since I was 18.
Yeah, actually, I was talking about that today too. I was telling my friend how you were gonna be here, and I was telling her I've known her for so long.
I know. And it's so crazy because you have my brother's, you have my oldest brother's name, and then you looked like my second brother.
Yeah,
Oh, like I remember whenever we lied to people at the fast food place
yeah,
that we were
they were
we were
related.
half.
And it was believable. Like nobody, nobody like questioned
It
it.
really was. And then my mom had to come and ruin it.
Yeah, I know. It was
They're
funny
not
though.
half siblings. That's nasty. And I'm like, well, mom, I had them fooled for a while.
Yes. uh, it was those the days. Like looking back at it, those days were fun, but it was awful at the
Yeah.
same time. Working there, working fast food sucks. Like whoever does that, like I have respect for them just because I know how bad it was.
Yeah, it was horrible. And this one time, this very lovely fry cook, I was standing behind the fryer. You might know this story, George.
I did. I the one that did it. Got oil all over you.
It could have been so horrible, George.
It was
If it-
cold. You were fine.
yeah, but we were both scared. We looked
True.
we looked at each together, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it to burn me, and I'm like, okay, no, not.
No, I knew it was cold. I just put it in there.
I didn't know that.
So you're waiting to die?
Which honestly, why was I even behind the fryer?
That is a good question. Why were you even there? You shouldn't have been there. It's your own fault.
It was closing time. Maybe I was
Yeah.
cleaning or something. I don't know, but man, I would never work fast food again. But I did love the funness of the staff, like the employees.
Yeah, we were a crazy bunch back in those
Yeah.
days.
So I'm learning Chinese now.
Mandarin?
Yes, Mandarin, my bad. It's called Simplified Chinese on Duolingo. And
Okay.
Duolingo wasn't enough. I wanted to learn more. So I joined Preply, I think it's called Preply. So I started learning Mandarin on there, and my teacher, like, she was like, "Can you read the sentence?" And I read it, and she's like, "Okay, which word means like?" And I was like, "Si Juan." She goes, "How do you know that?" And I said, "Because I'm on Duolingo." You know a lot. I was like, I really don't know that much. I really don't.
I think it's like one of those things when you're learning a new language, like even like someone giving you encouragement, it, like lets you keep going. That's probably what
Yes,
she's
yes.
doing. She's like, you do a pretty good amount. We're gonna get through this. Like you're gonna get it.
She told me because after the first lesson, she sent like after each lesson, she sends messages, and after the first lesson, she goes, "You've done really good. You have a very good ear on being able to repeat back what I tell you in the exact tone." She goes, "I think that you'll be able to perform sentences within 4 weeks," and I'm like, "I only take one lesson a week. What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
But
but hey, but
yeah,
if she's a
she's
professional,
really nice, and the time difference, it was 8 o'clock where I was, and it was 8 o'clock p.m. and then it was 9 o'clock a.m. over there, and I'm like, dang girl, that's a long time difference.
yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Hmm. But I decided to start learning Chinese because I stopped drinking. I was like, let's see, we're not drinking, and I decided to stop drinking as soon as the blue buzz balls got fully hard launched.
I've never been a huge drinker, so I honestly have no idea what that is.
Oh, you don't drink?
It's very rare. Like if I'm like out at the bar, I'll drink one or two drinks, and it's always like somebody orders it for me, or like it's not something that like I request. It's more like they ask me, "You want to drink?" I say sure, anything's fine, and then they just give me something. Because I don't drink, I don't know what anything is.
I was more of like a sweet drinker. I remember whenever I got my first, like, I was at a concert and it was the first time I was able to drink at a concert. And I went and I was like, I want something sweet. And she's like, well, let me see your ID. And I was like, boom. And she made me a white gummy bear. That was so, oh, those are so good. They're sweet. I know some people don't like sweet drinks, though, but
I
I
like them
learned
sweet too.
to
I don't
keep
like
off
bitter ones.
very, huh?
I don't like them when they're bitter. They have to be sweet.
Yes, yes. I don't like that. I mean, I could do straight shots of vodka. You know what? No, maybe I can't do straight shots of vodka anymore. But I used to be able to do straight shots of vodka.
You're getting to that age that you can't do them anymore.
Exactly, exactly. It's horrible, and especially whenever it would be warm. Nope, could not be me anymore.
I'm at thinking about the age that when the weather changed, like things start to hurt. It was because I don't know if you know this, but when I was in Thanksgiving, I like sprained my ankle and my foot because I stepped my whole foot went into a hole,
Oh
and I
no!
fell, and so I ended up like at the ER, you know, trying like getting it fixed. But this weekend, this week, like when it suddenly got cold,
Mm-hmm.
um, I woke up and I could not walk. Like my ankle, like I was like limping. I was like, golly, like what happened? I just slept and somehow my ankle was hurting. I'm thinking, I wonder if it's because of the weather.
Yeah, so I broke my arm lot. And it does have to do with the weather. It doesn't make any kind of sense, but everybody who is like older or has broken bones have said the same thing, how whenever the weather starts changing is whenever. So I broke my arm a lot whenever I was in elementary, and it was always the freaking monkey bars. And it got to the point where um, the hospital that my mom called CPS because they thought that
You're
physically
being abused.
abused. And my mom was like, no, call the school. And then she just hung up, and they called the school and they verified that I did break my arm. And every time that every start of the year, my mom would go to the teacher and be like, she's not allowed on the monkey bars. She breaks her arms. Do not allow her on the monkey bars. And the teachers were like, okay. And I would still end up on the monkey bars, and I broke my arm again.
Your poor mother.
I know. And then she had told the doctor to lie to me. So the doctor lied to me and told me, if you break your arm again, we are going to have to cut it off. And I'm like, no. So what do I do once I'm fully healed? I get back on the monkey bars and I break the opposite arm. Oh my God, my poor mom. Most of my pictures that I see, like I'm in a cast. I got a glow in the dark one. They make glow in the dark ones.
I didn't know that.
Like the cast. Yeah. And I remember this one time for show and tell, my mom was like, they cut off the cast, and I had made a joke to my mom. I was like, I'm going to take it for show and tell. Haha, just kidding. And my mom made me take it to show and tell.
For everybody knew that you broke your arm.
Huh?
So everybody knew that you broke your arm.
Well, yeah, everybody knew I broke my arm. I was in a cast.
Yeah, for like the longest time. Like, why did you have to take it?
I don't know. To see, I don't know. But the smell was horrible. Ooh.
Yeah, I've always
I
heard
remember
that.
they would take it off. My arm was so skinny. It kind of looked like Captain America before he was Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but
oh, Jesus, that's funny.
yeah.
And I can picture your mother just being like, really? Again?
She probably thought, man, I'm going to break her arm next time. F this.
Maybe I should be abused. Maybe she should be abused. Let's break it on purpose this time.
Oh my God. I don't know. I guess me and monkey bars, we don't get along.
That's funny though.
Hey, I saw that you were traveling a while back.
What? It's been a while since I've traveled. I haven't gone anywhere.
Was it Mexico?
Yeah, I used to go to Mexico like every year in April. I would go.
Are you going this year?
This year I might not, because my uncle's talking about him coming here this year instead of me going there. So I might not go.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
See what the other worlds have to offer.
Yeah, I know. But I always go to the same place because, you know, my uncle lives in Cancun. So it's very easy for me to head down there. And so I love going there. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so you get to visit family and you get a vacation.
Yes. I do.
Whenever I went to Mexico, whenever I was in high school, I went twice, and it was not fun. It was San Juan.
Oh, I've never been there.
Yeah, it was crazy because they lived in the same house. Like my grandma, obviously, she lived in the same house that my dad had grew up in, and seeing the difference of the homes was crazy because the living room, I'm not sure if it's the same way for your uncle, but in the living room / dining room area, it was just an open ceiling. Like you could look up and see the sky.
No, not him. They're just like here. The only difference is they're just made of everything's made of concrete.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, what the heck? What do they do whenever it rains? And it rained whenever we were there one time. And she just used it, my aunt from marriage,
Hmm.
aunt marriage, she just used it as an opportunity to clean it, and she was scrubbing it with Fabuloso. And I'm like, yeah, girl, use that rain to your advantage. But
That's
it was horrible because we didn't grow up learning Spanish because my mom was like, no, you're not. No, you speak English because we're in America, even though she married my father, who was Mexican.
yeah,
So when
no.
I met my cousins and everything, we could not communicate. And whenever we would try, we would talk slower in hopes that they would understand.
Does it
And they
work
would
that
think,
way? So I think that's more like of a generational thing. Like depending on when they came over, how long they've been here, like that's when it happened. Because at a certain time, it was like speaking Spanish was looked down on it was like they would look down on you for speaking Spanish. So during that time, I think that's probably when your parents felt it and saw it, and so for them it was like an embarrassment, and they wanted to protect you from it. Is more than likely what it was. But
well,
then things change, and now speaking Spanish is like a good thing because you can get more money in the future. You know, you have like more career opportunities,
mm-hmm,
and so for my family, it was an embarrassment not to speak Spanish. Like if you
yeah,
didn't speak Spanish, all the tias were talking mad bad about you. So so it was important for us to speak Spanish. But I think it
yeah.
has to be because of that.
Yeah, and like my accent for Spanish is horrible. I sound not Hispanic.
It just takes practice. You have to keep trying.
I know. And I was even thinking, I was like, why am I learning Mandarin whenever I should be learning Spanish? Because
Probably so, but you could always learn both.
¿por qué no las dos?
Yeah, there you go. That wasn't bad.
Mhm.
You sounded
Well,
very Dora the Explorer, but but it wasn't bad.
can you say what would she say? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just like I've heard like little snippets. I'm like, that's what it sounded like. I can see you
Yeah.
dressing up like that too, like for Halloween. I don't know why.
You want to dress up like Dora for Halloween?
I feel like you would be good in Dora the Explorer costume.
And Matt could be the map.
Oh, I was thinking he could be the monkey.
Boots.
Booze,
He
that
has
was his name.
boots. Well, see, I've been wanting to do Maribel from Encanto.
Okay, I can see you doing that too. But she
Yeah,
has
because
longer hair and it's
glad.
super curly.
Yes, because my mom takes care of kids, and one of the kids that she was taking care of, she looked at the TV whenever they were watching Encanto, and she's like, "That's Thea." And one of my other friends even messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, you look a lot like Maribel from Encanto," and I was like, "You are not the first person to say that." I
That's
think it's because my
funny.
glasses and my curly hair.
I don't know. I don't see it, but I don't know. I guess it could. Maybe because I haven't seen the movie that much. I've only seen it like one time.
Oh my god,
So,
did it make you cry?
no, it did not. It took a
What?
lot to make me cry.
I'm a crybaby whenever it comes to movies, and I cried whenever they were talking about, oh, like we're an amazing family, and everybody that had like abilities and powers got in the picture, but then Mitty Bell was not in the picture, and I just
And
started
nobody
crying.
noticed. Yeah.
It was like she's the outcast. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. I like that movie. It made me cry,
It's a
and
good
Coco
movie.
too.
Coco,
Yeah.
that was a good one. Didn't like the grandmother from the movie just like recently die?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, I think I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, that she died. Poor thing. Well, she lived a long
I
life.
know. But on the Snapchat memories, it came up that not too long ago, a year ago, a couple days ago, we were doing karaoke.
I was remembering that earlier. I don't know
Yeah,
what came
I
into
got
my
the.
mind. I'm like, that's funny.
Did you sing or no?
No, I refused. I did not.
I'm surprised that I enjoyed karaoke because I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I'm like, and like my past friends that I had, like they were too shy, and they're like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, and I'm like, okay, not gonna push it. And even whenever I asked to do it on my birthday one year, they're like, I'm not doing karaoke, and I was like, in my head, it's my birthday, you should.
Yeah.
Now with this new set, they're like, all right, let's do karaoke. I was like, wait, I don't have to fight for it,
No. Like, you should do what
but
you want to do.
huh?
Like, I feel like you should do what you want to do. Like, I wouldn't fight it. I'm not gonna be out there singing, but I will be supporting you as you're out there.
I'll be sipping on some water and supporting you and taking you videos.
I think we did drink. I did drink that day.
Oh, did you?
Yes, you gave me that big like ball you had,
But
and then I bought some shots for us that day.
oh yeah, I remember.
That
But that
was a
place,
fun
oh
day.
my god, that used to be my favorite place. But then there was an incident and they were mean, and I'm like, I'm never coming here again. So now I have to find a new karaoke spot.
Well, this time the person that should be like the main person, they should have ad free Google on YouTube. That was funny. The ads kept playing.
Yeah, that was, I don't understand. I mean, I get it because you have more opportunity to pull it up on your phone, but I want to do like, have you ever watched a Gretzko on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
She it's a anime. She is a accounting worker, and it was so crazy because whenever I was watching her, I'm like, hey, I'm in accounting. And she just hated her job as an accountant, and she hated her boss, and she had this like secret, and the secret was after work she would go and do screamo at the karaoke shop. And she was like this innocent little, I don't even know what creature she was, and then she just turned into something so evil, and then it started getting so bad, like her job, that she started doing screamo in the bathroom at work.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a good show. You should watch it.
I just started getting into anime. Like I watched the Demon Slayer.
I haven't watched that
Yeah,
one.
it's so good. I love that one.
I think Matt's watched it. I even got him a Demon Slayer shirt to wear to bed. But I watched Attack on Titan.
Hmm.
That's like the original that every not original, but that's like one of the few that everybody watches, even if they don't watch anime.
I haven't seen
And
that one. I feel like the one that everybody watches is Avatar.
oh yeah, Avatar. But I don't see. I watched it whenever I was a kid,
Yeah,
and I don't really. I view it as a cartoon, but yeah, it is an anime.
technically it is anime. Yeah,
Yeah, and Sailor Moon as well. I thought it was a cartoon whenever I was a kid,
I didn't
but
watch that one.
anime. And I like to mess with my husband so much. I for the longest time I would call an anime a manga and a manga an anime. And he's like, "Why do you do this to me? Why do you like irritating me whenever I know you know?" And I was like, I don't know the difference.
What is the difference? I honestly don't know. I probably have called them all anime.
You got, no, like if it's in a book format, it's a
Oh,
manga.
manga. Okay, then that's fine. I haven't seen manga then. I've
Yeah.
only seen anime.
Anime is short for animation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like messing with my husband about words that I know, but I just missay it on purpose to, I raised my husband's blood pressure.
Try to kill him early.
He has to take deep breaths. But I mean, I gotta keep him on his toes. I gotta get that blood pumping in him to make sure his heart's working right.
Yeah, that's funny. You lasted a long time. I will say that.
Yeah, and our wedding anniversary is coming up on Wednesday.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
We're gonna go to this Mexican restaurant. I forget what it's called, but
Where's it
this girl
at?
I work with, like, everybody asks her for recommendations of restaurants because like she picks the best restaurant. So I asked her, and she was like, "You should go to this place. They have live music, and they have a jazz player, like a saxophone player,
Mm-hmm.
and loves jazz. He loves jazz." And I was like, "We are doing that because he loves." I was looking at the menu online, and it's expensive. I'm like, dang, this girl,
La Viva?
huh?
Is it called La Viva?
No, I don't remember. I'll have to tell you later, but
Yeah, because I've been to La Viva. It's kind of expensive, but it's so good.
and they have a dress code there too.
Oh, then no, it's not La Viva. They don't
Okay.
have one there. But my cousin works there, so I like going like every now and then. I used to go. I used to go more often than I do now, but it's
You
nice to
switch
go every
it for
now and then
chicken
and see her.
express.
Well, it was nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to
Hopefully,
you too, George. Thank you so much for having me.
anytime. If you're gonna come again, we'll do this again.
Yes, especially on your couch.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for today's episode of Girls and Gays Let's Talk. Thanks for hanging out with us.
If something we said hit home or made you laugh, cry, or text your toxic ex, you know what to do.
Leave us a review, share the episode with your favorite chaotic friend, and don't forget to follow us on socials for behind the scenes drama and messy opinions.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Until then, stay loud, stay soft, and stay exactly who you are.
Bye.
Bye.